something.
Mr. Mahindra, my question was, what do you expect from the Prime Minister's speech tomorrow morning? There are a lot of expectations. He set certain expectations after making a few statements before he left from India. What do you expect him to say at the Congress Center tomorrow morning?
Well, I don't think I have any expectation, and I certainly wouldn't be brave enough to hazard a guess. But I think he has recognized that Davos is a very unusual gathering. In the old days, when people used to wander around the world in caravans and stop in caravanserais, they knew they'd find everything there: water, food, company, commerce. And I think he recognizes that Davos is today's caravanserai. This is the stop for all caravans. And he's coming here, obviously, to tell the world about a new India that he's hoping to build. I presume that would be his task. So in a funny sense, to use one of his own phrases, he does Mann ki Baat in India.
Yes.
This is दुनिया के सामने मन की बात करने आ रहे हैं.
And he says that the world expects the Mukhya to hear from Mukhya directly.
बिल्कुल वही कर रहे हैं ना, इंडिया में मन की बात with the मुखिया कर रहे हैं. So I think that's what he's really doing. I think he's here in a sense to give the world his man ki baat and get a positive response and a feeling of affinity to India as in this journey.
You do not expect him to defend GST or demo. He's on the offensive on almost all the issues that he has dealt with as far as the government is concerned. Ease of doing business, despite the cloud around the ease of doing methodology itself, where the World Bank itself has apologized for the methodology. But he's been on the offensive.
You know, I'm not an advisor, but you and I know that if anyone asked our advice, you should never start with the defensive.
Yes.
You have to be positive, because clearly these are initiatives which are all done with good intention. They all take time. There is a bipartisan approach to many of those initiatives. So I don't see why he should be apologetic. He could have said, let me take one more year. Yeah. And let the economy recover, and let the effects of all of these things come to pass, and then I'll come here. But I think he's been brave in coming here and saying that even while they are work in process, I'm going to come and tell the world that this is what we're doing, and watch us, and something's going to happen. So I think his timing is perfect.
Mr. Mahindra, the theme of the World Economic Forum conference this year is building a shared future in a fractured world. What is the role you think India can play in helping shape and build that world?
One of the things I've been saying for a long time is that India, in fact, is a laboratory for the world's problems. If you think about India, it started out as a fractured country. We have a fractured polity, we have a fractured society. You can call it fractured, or you can call it variegated or multicolored. If you want to be positive and not defensive about it, as we were just talking earlier, India is a classic example of a country that has almost every division imaginable. So if India succeeds, the world will succeed. So my view is, I hope Prime Minister Modi will in fact give some kind of message like that look, watch us, because all the solutions for much of the world's fracturing lie in India. Help us succeed, and the world will succeed.
Last year we had Chinese President Xi Jinping kickstart the World Economic Forum, and that was seen as China's coming out party, where China really arrived on the world stage with America receding under Donald Trump. Now you've got India. Is that comparison odious? Is there at all a comparison? Do you believe that we're being taken in quite the same league as China?
I believe we are. Interestingly, Xi Jinping came here at a point when normally really comes here. The Chinese don't come because of the proximity to the Chinese New Year. So it was quite a big event that he came. But I wouldn't call Xi Jinping's coming here last year as a coming out, because look, China has been successful for a while. We are not simply 1 year behind China. We have some miles to go. So I think for us this is really a coming out. This is telling the world that a lot is happening. I have been quoted to say that the economy, I think, is going to be very robust in the coming year. That's why I mentioned, Rajeev, that the timing is perfect. He's not coming just to gloat that, look, our economy is the fastest growing. He's coming at a time when we have to show that it's going to happen. But people will cheer at courage, I hope, and people will join us for that journey.
There's a lot for the auto sector, Mr. Mahindra, in this edition of the WEF. There is going to be autonomous cars discussions. There's going to be AI and discussions around biofuels and stuff like that. What do you hope to gather from the panels and discussions this time?
Well, this is not necessarily the place where cutting-edge technology is going to be talked about. You have auto shows, you have auto conferences, you can go to many other watering holes to find out what exactly is state-of-the-art. Frankly, if I wanted to know what was happening, for example, in autonomous driving, I would be in California today rather than in Davos. Yes, there is a kind of economy of scale. You come here, you meet people from around the world. So I think what we'll see here is really an intermingling of ideas that you may not be able to see anywhere else. So if I wanted to find out who is opposed to lithium-ion batteries, who's got a new technology, this is probably the best place to do it, because there will be somebody out there trashing lithium-ion. There will be somebody the other trashing battery EVs and saying hybrid is the way to go. And you'll find another person saying hydrogen's the way to go. So this is not necessarily a place for the answers, but it's a great place to hear the arguments.
Okay, my other question is about the rural distress, and your industry, to what extent do you think it has been impacted by the rural and farm income distress?
We are now in more than just tractors. We are in implements and we are in agri-business as well.
So industry as a whole, not necessarily.
So when you say our industry, you meant the Indian industry?
Yeah.
I actually believe that there is a strong rural recovery going on.
Okay.
And our indicator is simply our tractor sales. As you know, they've been very positive. The outlook remains positive. So I believe there is a recovery post the demonetization effect, the GST effects, and of course some of the distress that we were seeing in the farms because of terms of trade being against farmers. Inflation had risen so high, farm prices hadn't kept up. So the farmers were losing in that respect. But I think with the government having taken some very, very clear steps to raise the MSP, to put the terms of trade back in the farmers' hands, we are beginning to see the results of that. So I actually feel that will give industry a fillip next year.